villagers are going to miss you. Where are you off to?
You're staying with friends in London, aren't you?
I said I didn't want a fuss.
Oh, nonsense. Did you hear about the Reverend Thomas? I hear he went all John Wayne in the local saloon.
How could I get taken in by them? Why didn't I see it? I'm so stupid. I bet everyone's laughing at me.
No, they're not. I bet Kane's getting a right load of grief at home today.
Although he'll probably just talk his way out of it like he always does, or just ignore them and carry on as if nothing's happened.
Morning. Thank you.
I thought I'd finished with moody teenagers. You'll be moving your dad in next, and I'll be buying cheap whiskey wholesale.
Oh, don't be daft. He prefers single malt.
You know, I reckon it's time she started rebuilding bridges.
Those bridges are toast, Dad. Kane sorted out when he started knocking off her best friend and rubbing her nose in it.
Sam Vickers' wife I am if I'm banned from church life. And if I don't go to the choir rehearsal tomorrow, it will give the gossips even more ammunition.
The gossips will have a stockpile if you do. I'm expecting a record turnout for Sunday service as it is.
You're the one that made a show of us in the wool pack.
And whose fault is that?
It wasn't Laurel's. Look, I'm the one you should be blaming. I'm sorry.
There's no doubt you've let me down. But your betrayal of trust is nowhere near as profound as my wife's.
Oh, don't let us go into all that again.
I don't know how many more times I have to say I'm sorry. Do you know what? Perhaps I won't bother.
Perhaps you should have gone on holiday with your parents. Maybe then you wouldn't have been tempted to lie to me.
I dare say you're right. As usual.
Did you give Donna that article on listeria?
Yes, our fridge is now a brie-free zone.
These curtains are nice. Contemporary but traditional.
Well, it's a show home, so it'll all be very, very neutral.
You want to make sure you have an input, though. You don't want her using cheap seconds.
We don't want to be raising Donna's stress levels now, do we, Viv?
We're meeting Val in the pub after work just to check some samples. And will you both stop talking about me like I'm an incubator?
Shh. Trolls have ears.
I heard that.
How many people does it take to show Grace and Sinclair around a house?
Luxury spa. We're after his equally rich and idle playmates, right?
Right.
So, I had our hot tub brought over just to add a little ambience. Kelly is going to demonstrate it for us.
She is?
Yeah, I hope. All right, Kelly, well, everything's been set up for you inside.
You mean I have?
Huh?
What am I? Worm bait? Do you want me to give him a lap dance and all?
Kelly, don't be like this. Look, I wouldn't have asked you if it wasn't vital for the deal.
I'm as much part of this business deal as you are. But suddenly my credibility doesn't matter. I'm not doing it.
Do you think Alan Sugar got where he is by refusing to market his ideas creatively?
I don't think he was ever asked to model a hot tub.
I'd have thought, Dad, that you'd learned that schmooze isn't your forte after the election fiasco.
Look, just do this one little thing for me and I'll never ask you to do anything again. Look, Kelly, look. How about I treat you to a proper pamper day? Somewhere obscenely expensive.
All right, then.
Thank you.
Ashley was like a man possessed. Goodness knows what the bishop will say when he finds out. Oh. And that Adam. He's got more front than Boothroyd's. I can't believe he's holding a leaving do tomorrow at the Woolpack.
He's only going away temporarily. What's he want to have a leaving party at all?
Oh, I don't know, love, but I think you ought to find out.
He wouldn't be considering leaving before Steph's assessment, surely.
I dare say he feels he'll be a free agent.
Council are proposing a cultural exchange with a little village in the Horn of Africa. I thought I'd take a few tokens of Yorkshire culture.
Another free holiday, is it, Pollard? Or just one of your Spanish scams, eh?
I was thinking bringing back an old, malevolent artifact. Unless you think 2 in the village is overkill.
I'd better be going, but Alan, don't forget to pick up your repeat prescription.
Perfect excuse to grill him.
He's being a bit vague about his plans, evasive almost.
Well, I think Steph was right about him all along.
Surely he's up to something. I mean, well, why would he run? You're quite right, Betty. We need some answers.
Carl's just told me about Kane and your friend. Just when you think he can't get any lower, he's limbo danced in under a snake. You look a lot like your mother when you smile.
I'll get it.
Whenever she took a hard knock, she turned round to the world and she says, "Is that the best you can do?" I see that in you. You said, "This is what I'm doing and I've got my reasons, and if you don't like it, I'm moving out." That's pure charity, is that?
I'm not in the mood.
I've not come for a row. I've come to take you home.
You hypocrite. Did he make you get away? Take out the dingle trash? Maybe she'll take you with her as well.
You've got it all wrong, love. You can stay here as long as you like. You've taken Kane's side and forced her out. She doesn't know who she can trust.
Well, if you let her get a word in...
Kane's been chucked out of the house. I know I never approved of you letting baby Sarah go, but what Kane did was beyond the pale. Look, I know I've upset you and I've got a lot of making up to do, but I can promise you this. Me and Zach will never let Kane hurt you again.
I knew something was up, but even when I asked, you lied to me.
I know why you won't accept my apology. It's because you're enjoying being sulky and pompous.
Can't you see you're upsetting her?
You know why I couldn't tell you, and you just proved me right by overreacting.
If you'd told me sooner, I would have handled it differently. What you fail to grasp here is I have certain moral standards to uphold.
Bit late worrying about that now, with your form.
Yes, I'm well aware of my past, which is why our marriage has to be stronger than anyone's. Maybe I should have stayed single.
Go after her.
Why should I?
I can't apologise enough. I didn't know she was in there. I only had the thing installed to check the plumber's craftsmanship.
Well, I hope I didn't embarrass her too much. I thought people wore swimwear in hot tubs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I
believe that Dad left a bikini out for you.
Did he? Must have been itsy bitsy, because I didn't see him.
I was sorry to hear about Steph. How is she?
Well, she's anxious, as you can imagine.
And any news on your Terence? Has anyone heard from him?
No, nothing since he left the village.
Oh, right. Well, that'd be 3-4 months now. April time.
April?
Yeah. He came in to see Adam, demanding to be seen in a right state. Adam wasn't very happy about it.
And this was in April, you say?
I think you must be getting muddled up, Grace. It was months before that.
No, I remember it because it was my mother's 65th birthday, April the 9th. You let me leave early because I was throwing her a surprise party.
I really don't want to argue with you, Grace, but I think you're mistaken. Mrs. Hanson, if you'd like to come straight.
I'm sorry I went off on one earlier. Thanks for everything, Tom.
Anytime, love. And I mean that. Come on, son.
Is that it, love?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. I've got to go down to the village later and pick up some CDs.
Oh, you. Don't be going round to Jasmine's causing any bother.
Well, they're not at Jasmine's.
Oh, right then. Well, try and stay out of trouble. And if you can't, then you know I'm always here for you.
Thank you. And thank Carl again for me. He's all right for a king, you know.
Hello, Dad. Come to see me one last time before they throw away the key.
Adam was behaving very strangely this afternoon.
Oh? In what way? What did he say?
Well, he was agitated. Things he said just didn't add up. I don't want to make too much of it, but I get the feeling that maybe you shouldn't be in this place.
Well, he's going to make sure I never get out. He's just going to sit there and watch me rot.
No, he isn't. He's leaving tomorrow and no one's quite sure where he's going.
Oh!
Andy. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been a stressy cow lately, haven't I?
Oh, I've grown a thick old hide. And I'm sure Ashley will come round.
Yeah, in the end. I just don't want to be here until he does. So I've decided I'm going to go on holiday with Mum and Dad. Because you know what I'm like? I'll just end up snapping at him and making things worse.
Well, I wouldn't be too hasty. You both said things you didn't mean.
I know you're only trying to help, but no. I've made my mind up. I'm going to go today.
You're leaving?
Yeah, I've decided to take your advice. I'm going to go.
You always were impulsive.
Thought you'd be pleased. I'll just go and pack.
Now, you know that you are both right and wrong in equal measures. You wouldn't accept her apology. But I'll wager she would accept yours if you're not still too self-righteous to accept it.
I saw you.
Child.
I made you this. It's yours.
Keep it. They're a rubbish band anyway.
I'm so sorry. You know, I never meant for any of this to happen. I was just confused about my feelings for you.
Yeah, I've heard it, and it's getting old. We're both straight, although obviously I haven't proved it quite as clearly as you have.
He only did it to get you. My feelings didn't even matter. I felt so used. And you've lost your family, and I know how that feels, because Laurel and Ashley keep fighting, and I think they're gonna break up.
I wanted to forgive you. In a twisted way, you could almost expect it of Kane. I just didn't expect it of my best mate.
There.
Oh, that's so thoughtful. Look, roses from our front door, Donna.
I brought you some cuttings from my garden. Forget-me-nots.
Oh, they're not forget-me-nots. That's Love Lies bleeding. You're like the bad fairy at the christening, you are.
Ah, now what do two young, trendy newlyweds want for their first home? A concept that is totally contemporary, but above all, sexy.
It's bringing out the animal passion in him, Marlon, and don't drool over the samples. It's a good lad.
It's very hip.
Now, I've themed the curtains in each room. There's African, Native American.
Tell me, Donna, help me out here. What do you think?
Oh, look at her little face. I've outdone myself this time. She can't think of the words to describe her happiness.
If Terence was furious enough to storm in and confront him, well, that sheds a different light on motive, surely.
I told you. After he attacked you, he threatened Adam. Told him he'd never forgive him for what he did. That he'd find him and he'd get him.
Seems he kept that promise.
Oh, ha. You're beginning to believe me.
I admit I had some nagging doubts, things that just didn't add up, but today, oh, I don't know. It was very suspicious.
It was in April. It did happen like she said.
Yeah, well, Grace was adamant. I knew you'd remember an important occasion like that, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
But Adam insisted that she was confused when she obviously wasn't.
That's the way he works. He makes you think you're wrong. Makes you doubt yourself. Makes other people doubt you. It'll be the same tomorrow, you'll see.
Then you must try and convince them. I'll back you up all I can. Maybe I should voice my doubts about Grace and about Terence coming to see him in April.
It's kind of you, Dad, but they'll just think you're desperate and you'll say anything to get me out. I'm weary of all this, Dad. And actually, I quite like this place. At least when he's gone tomorrow, I'll feel safe here.
You can't just give up.
A hard sell proving tougher than you thought, eh?
I will have them recommending me to all their new neighbours before you can say the lion sleeps tonight.
Listen, we just need to find a tactful way of letting her know we don't want to live in a low-rent version of Longleat.
I've got a few more ideas to run by you. Oh, she doesn't respond to tact, love. You're going to have to tell her that you hate them, don't
No, shh, no, I'll handle this. The thing is, Val, and I don't want you to feel in any way slighted by this.
Why do you think the Vegas hooker hotel room look is me?
Well, I wouldn't put it quite like that. It's a mums and daughters thing, isn't it? Well, you always end up having the same taste in everything. Fashion, furnishing, fellas. It's learned behaviour.
Fashion?
The thing is, I think we all need to reevaluate what we're trying to say
What
here.
she's trying to say is my mum's tacky and I've inherited bad taste too.
Oh, this is nice. It's the same material as the waistcoat I've got. What? What's funny?
We're just saying how Donna, in the trade, isn't known as an adventurous homemaker. How about plain cotton tab tops? You can choose the colours.
I can't believe this has happened. I never thought you'd forgive me.
Ashley and Laurel will sort it out. He's mad at her now, but he never stays mad for long, does he?
No. And you got your family back now as well?
Well, not quite.
Oh, sorry, you mean Sarah.
No, I meant my dad, actually. But thanks for reminding me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We're all better off without him.
Yeah, but he's still my dad. And I've lost him forever.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, you'd lost him before. I mean, before me and him got involved. Ow! What's wrong?
What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Making out you're not to blame. Making out you're innocent, trying to rub my nose in it. You'd lost him before.
No, I was just saying that you'd fallen out with Sarah anyway.
Yeah, and we'd have made up eventually. How can we come back from this? From what you and him did together?
I know what I did was wrong, but we're over that now, aren't we?
Get off me. Do you really think I was going to forgive you that easily?
We're best friends, aren't we?
Do you know when someone's playing you? I never meant a word of it. I was just making sure you really appreciate what you've lost.
You're upset. You're trying to hurt me because I hurt you.
I thought you'd already learnt lesson number 1 from the master. Well, why don't you treat this like one of your precious little study sessions? Trust no one.
I've been unreasonable. And you're right, I did overreact. I'm not saying that what you did was right, it wasn't. But I understand. And I do forgive you.
Well, it was a lose-lose situation. I mean, I should have told you from the off. I can see that now. And I'm really, really sorry too. Oh.
I'll tell him he isn't wanted anymore.
Don't you dare! Gonna miss me flight.
Well, we've sorted out our differences, haven't we?
Well, Mum and Dad are meeting me off the plane, and you have to admit, we could do with some space. So listen, say goodbye to Jasmine for me.
What about the choir?
Oh, I'd know her manage. Ciao.
Space? What does she mean by space?
I should have been supportive earlier. I know how hard you work in that sweatshop. It must be very tiring.
Well, you're not wrong there.
I could tell. You need a bellboy to carry bags under your eyes.
You cheeky mare! Sling your hook. Hey, and stay away from the vines on your way home. I hear Tarzan wants his wig back.
Oh, you've become a very hard woman since you started knocking about with our lad. She probably won't speak to you for weeks now.
I live in hope. Hope that I'll be remembered nicely in her will when she goes. The stuff I have to put up with that old coffin dodger.
That makes sense.
What? Do you think she meant it?
Think about it.
Why else would she put up with her? Yeah, I dare say you're right. After all, takes one to know one.